Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Falcons QB is likely to be Steelers' Aaron Rodgers contingency plan. The Pittsburgh Steelers remain without a clear quarterback situation as Aaron Rodgers continues to keep them hanging on a string. Both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks on the roster in 2024, have signed with the New York Giants and New York Jets, respectively. Mason Rudolph was brought back to the Steelers after spending a difficult season in Tennessee, along with former Miami Dolphins backup Skylar Thompson. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter reported that Rodgers, 41, could decide to take the 2025 season off. He had met with Pittsburgh on March 21. Per Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot, if Rodgers doesn't choose to come to Pittsburgh for next season, the Steelers will likely be interested in pursuing Atlanta Falcons veteran Kirk Cousins. Cousins lost the starting job to rookie Michael Penix Jr. after starting the first 14 games of 2024 for the Falcons. He went 7-7 in those starts, with turnovers being a common problem. Cousins, 36, signed a 4-year deal worth $180 million previous to last season without the knowledge that the Falcons would take a quarterback in the draft and in the first round, no less. Per Cabot, the Falcons could trade Cousins before June 1 and it would carry a dead cap hit of $12.5 million in 2025 compared to a $37.5 million dead cap hit if he shipped off before then. The Steelers acquired star wide receiver DK Metcalf on March 9 to bolster their receiving depth after ranking number 26 overall in passing yards in 2024. Steelers add to receiving core in recent mock draft. Another mock draft. This time by way of Kyle Stackpole of CBS Sports. In it, he has the Steelers addressing the offensive side of the ball, adding some more juice to their recently refined wide receiver room with Luther Burden III. Let's assume the Steelers end up signing Aaron Rodgers, relieving the pressure of having to draft a quarterback, such as Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart, in the first round, wrote Stackpole. Adding Luther Burden III gives Pittsburgh much-needed WR depth, especially with the enigma that is Georgia Pickens entering the final year of his rookie contract. It's no secret that the Steelers have a laundry list of needs heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. Chief among them is at the quarterback position, but as Stackpole lays out, in this scenario, they would end up with Aaron Rodgers as their guy. Our latest videos, despite already bringing in DK Metcalf this offseason and re-signing Scotty Miller and Ben Skowronek, adding a weapon like Burden could prove to be a good investment. First of all, Stackpole addresses a very real scenario where adding Burden alleviates the headache in a year when Pickens becomes a free agent. There are already rumors swirling that the team is not looking to extend him this offseason, so a world exists where he is playing for a new team in 2026. Adding Burden saves the team the desperation of finding an immediate replacement. He also adds an element to the team they don't currently have. Often compared to Deebo Samuel, Burden is a compact, strong yards after the catch receiver. Putting a skill type like that in the slot would be wildly beneficial for an aging player like Rodgers, giving him a big play outlet at all times. Personally, I think he's more dynamic than that. He's arguably the most twitchy receiver in the class, which could be honed in to make an elite route runner. If he can do that, he has the requisite speed to be moved anywhere out wide from X to Z. Picking Burden does overlook some other potentially more pressing needs. Defensive line and secondary are still major concerns for me. On the line, there isn't much to offer outside of Keanu Benton and Cameron Hayward, and their run defense suffered as a result of it. In the secondary, the team is hoping a 1-year rental with Darius Slay stabilizes the position opposite Joey Porter Jr., but only time will tell. Moreover, if either Porter or Slay goes down, who is left to pick up the pieces? Brandon Echols is a potential option, as is Corey Trice Jr., but he has been injured more than he's been healthy in his career. Trading a second-rounder for Metcalf this year essentially makes him the team's pick for the second round, so would it be wise to invest twice? Whatever the answer is and wherever the team is leaning, expect to get a clearer view as we inch closer to draft day. Steelers Mike Tomlin acknowledges really good meeting with Aaron Rodgers, puts no time frame on QB decision. Palm Beach, Fla. Mike Tomlin doesn't like to discuss players not already under contract to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He made an exception Sunday because of the public nature of his team's pursuit of quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers head coach admitted to meeting with Rodgers on March 21 at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. But at that gathering, Tomlin said no deadline was given regarding when the Steelers expected an answer from the 41-year-old passer and four-time NFL MVP. "I didn't give him a deadline," Tomlin said Sunday from the NFL annual meetings at the Breakers Resort Hotel. "I wanted to know him better, things that he values as a player and as a man and what he might be looking for with his next step." Tomlin called the meeting, which lasted for approximately 6 hours, a really good day. "He and I have known of each other for some time," Tomlin said. "It was really good to spend time together and get to know each other more intimately. It is free agency. It is a process. I have nothing of significance to add other than that." 3 weeks into free agency and with the NFL draft approaching in less than a month, the Steelers are no closer to solving their quarterback conundrum than at the end of the 2024 season. Justin Fields signed with the New York Jets at the outset of free agency, and Russell Wilson joined the New York Giants last week when the Steelers showed virtually no interest in retaining him. Aside from bringing back Mason Rudolph after a one-year stint in Tennessee, the Steelers have done nothing to fortify the game's most important position. The only other quarterback on the 90-man offseason roster is reserve/future signee Skylar Thompson. "We all would like to have settled circumstances, but this is a process," Tomlin said. "The acquisition of talent, whether it's at quarterback or any other position, we spend the bulk of our spring and offseason putting a roster together." Tomlin doesn't think it is imperative to have all quarterbacks under contract at this juncture of the offseason calendar or even by organized team activities in May or minicamp in June. "Training camp would be the line of demarcation in terms of that discussion," he said. "The spring is about teaching and learning." If Rodgers balks at signing with the Steelers, his rejection wouldn't necessarily lead the organization to pursue one of the few veterans still on the market such as Joe Flacco. "I don't know that we necessarily feel that way," Tomlin said. "We're looking at all the people that are available to us. That includes the draft class, which experts believe is lacking in top-tier talent." Tomlin spent the past week on the pro day circuit, nothing that recent visits to Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, Ohio State, Will Howard, and Texas, Quinn Ewers, were done with draft-eligible passers in mind. Tomlin already dined with Alabama's Jalen Milroe ahead of the Crimson Tide quarterback's pro day. The Steelers already had a top 30 visit with Louisville's Tyler Shaw and have one scheduled with Ole Miss Jackson Dart. "I don't know if we're identifying anything as Plan A, Plan B or Plan C," Tomlin said. "We're simply looking at the field of people, whether it's free agency or the draft, gathering information and making a decision accordingly." Tomlin also touched on team president Art Rooney's desire for the Steelers to retain Wilson, who started the final 11 games last season, or Fields, who opened the season as the starter. Fields quickly bolted when the Jets offered a 2-year, $40 million package that included $30 million guaranteed. Last week, Wilson joined the Giants on a 1-year deal that includes $10.5 million guaranteed. "I know what we said regarding Russell and Justin," he said. "It didn't pan out that way. Such is life in our game and, particularly, in free agency. We're optimistic about the room we're constructing." The only certainty at quarterback for the Steelers is that Rudolph will figure into the equation as the de facto starter if Rodgers doesn't sign, or he will be the backup, the role he filled for most of his previous 6 seasons with the organization. "His experience in the building certainly helps," Tomlin said. "It not only helps him, but it helps us. That's why it doesn't alarm me about the turnover, because of our experience with Mason." Are you a fan? What do you think of Aaron Rodgers' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.